We're back in session.
Yep, we are back in.
This hearing of the Board of Health will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation via Zoom is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting / hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public particularly interested in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may access the proceedings by joining Zoom, meeting ID number 880-9915-1478, or by calling 301-715-8592. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Samantha Benoit, Administrative Coordinator at sbenoit@ayer.ma.us, or 978-772-8220, extension 145, prior to the meeting.
Okay. And I have another notice to read to you, public hearing notice, because we are here. First thing we're going to talk about are new hotel motel regulations. So, public hearing notice. The Ayer Board of Health will be conducting a hybrid public hearing at 5:30 p.m. on Monday, March 11th, 2024 at Ayer Town Hall, 1 Main Street, regarding the adoption of hotel and motel regulations. Draft copies of the regulations are available upon request at the Board of Health office. For Zoom call-in information, please contact sbenoit@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 145. And this was advertised February 23rd and March 1st in the Shelby Valley Voice. There you go. I can go back to Sam.
Hey.
Okay. So we've opened the public hearing. Do we have any general public input? Okay, hearing none. The first item then that we'd like to talk about is the adoption of hotel and motel regulations. So these are draft regulations that Bridget prepared, I think now 2 meetings ago, provided to us. We've reviewed them. We've kind of passed them around, have a few comments on them. And we are tonight looking at whether to adopt these as written or to make edits to them or to do anything other than that too. So, does anyone have any questions about anything here? Any of my board members have questions is there any input from either police or fire on the proposed regulations?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, I thought the regulations are well written. I think they're consistent with other communities, and they're consistent with what the expectations would be for someone running a hotel motel. Mm-hmm. I saw nothing that I thought needed to be changed in it.
Okay. I had only one question about it, and it was about the about pets and whether or not we want to say animals are prohibited, or it's right now. This draft is pet for service, comfort, or support, accompanying a person with a disability. I'm wondering if we should make it at the owner's, operator's choice if they want to allow animals or not. I know you can't restrict if it's truly a service animal. You can't keep them out. But I'm wondering about changing this perhaps to say that if that the owner may prohibit, but that would have to be posted, and if they do allow, that they have to see a current rabies certificate.
Right. I would say for us again, to have them keep records of that on file.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
So just amend or make another line item where it's ABC
Yeah, or maybe
Or
rather than
amend
saying
C.
pets are prohibited, pets may be prohibited at the owner's or owner-operator's discretion. Yeah.
But
But if they are allowed, you have to, so it
So that
does
has
have
to
to
be
be
put
licensed.
in the language about the rabies and the license?
Yeah.
Yeah, we already have,
Okay.
it has to be licensed within the town if it's somebody who resides on site.
Okay.
And I like this one, that the pet is approved by the owner to stay because of extenuating circumstances, but I would just kind of leave it up to the owner if they want to do it as a general
I agree.
thing, but require rabies.
Yeah, so require rabies certificate also, or a note from a vet, if the
Yeah.
dog can't have a rabies somehow.
Yes, okay, a rabies cert or,
Letter from a vet.
yeah.
So if I were to add under CD, if allowed, a record of the rabies certification or a note from the vet, if allowed, if pets are allowed on premises.
Yeah. Yep, I think that would work. And then Bridget pointed out to me before we began that there's actually just a word missing.
Just for-
And it's 5A.
Yep.
On page 4. And it just should say, maintain an up-to-date electronic guest register / hosting platform. The word electronic is missing from
And
that. It's kind of,
That goes up to date, electronic goes in front of the word guest.
Yep.
yeah, I think
Everything
so, yeah. I mean, I guess the platform kind of suggests that
Yeah,
it's
it does. It
electronic.
just should be-
Yeah, the word really should be there. And that was the only question or comment that I had about it.
And then to follow this, if these are approved, we'll follow up with an inspection form. I think that's something that's important
Yeah.
because it would be different than our housing form, but
Right, right.
it just would design it specific to the regulations for things like obviously linens.
Yeah.
Let's just hypothetically say another motel were to come into play, and they had a kitchen or a cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it would just be geared for that. If they have ice on site,
Yeah.
that it's potable. Just basically run through a quick checklist of items.
I think
for
that
the
would be good, because this, part of the idea here was to just make it very clear to anyone
Right.
what the expectations are, so that everybody knows what,
Yeah.
what's
So-
required.
The process after tonight will be this gets submitted to the Attorney General's office for approval, is that right?
Yeah, I believe we vote to adopt
Adopt it,
it
right.
tonight, and then, once it's adopted, that draft goes. So we'd make these last few little edits, right?
Correct, and then it actually goes to, I believe, DEP. They hold all the town's regulations.
Oh, really?
So technically, you
Okay.
weren't required to have a public hearing. You
Okay.
did it just to make
Yeah.
sure that nobody
Yep.
missed out.
Yep.
But, so the regulations get filed, I believe, with DEP from here.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
And they hold all the towns, like I said.
And that happens after we do the vote to adopt.
Yep, I will
Okay.
send them in.
All right, got it.
And Madam Chairman, just to make sure no one has any comments that's here tonight other than what we said?
Any comments? Many attendees? Yes?
I have just a question on 5A. Could you go over that again?
Yep. So 5A, what we just said that we were going to do was to insert a word. So where it says, every person who owns, manages, or operates a hotel or motel shall maintain an up-to-date, we're wanting to put the word electronic in front of guest register / hosting platform, so that it's clear that what we're talking about there is an electronic register.
So I have a paper one right now, so that would not be,
Right. It would have to be, because it needs to be up to date all the time. Not like a record that's created after the fact.
well, no, when someone comes in, I write their name down, and when they leave, I write
Yeah.
when they leave.
And,
I don't have like computer access in the office.
okay,
I mean, I can do it, I just
Yeah.
have to do it from home. Just,
yeah, I don't think it really matters where Where?
It might be a few hour lag time if something.
Oh, yeah, I actually think that's fine, as long as you're gathering the information, you're seeing the ID, or if there's pets, you're taking care of that part of it, and then entering it is,
I do have a website now. That was very painful getting that.
Really?
As you can imagine with my technology, but
yeah.
I think there's a way for you to view that if you had to.
Is it up live, or is it still in a,
So
like,
it's not live because I don't think you'd want me advertising for rooms.
yeah, that's, right.
So it's
Yeah.
on there. It still needs some tweaking, but
Okay,
I'm actually pretty happy with it. I didn't do anything.
yeah,
But, all right, I'll make sure.
okay.
There was something about 3 weeks in the,
Occupation, so that's some seats, A.
Yes,
So I guess I want to use myself as a reference on this. So
okay,
throughout my life, I've lived in a lot of different places.
yeah,
And I've lived in places for years that didn't have a kitchen. So I know, Pam, you were concerned about people staying on term and having hot
Yeah,
plates and
yeah,
different things. I can definitely appreciate that. But I've had places where I've had stoves too, and I dusted them off every 2 months. I don't cook. So I just want
Yeah.
to put that out there, that not everybody's going to go in there and be disappointed or not want to use the motel room because they don't have a way to cook. A lot of people go out and get food, so.
yeah,
Again,
I,
I just say,
Yeah.
21 days is fine, I just
Yeah.
want to make that point.
no, I understand that, and I think that it's just important that if you're staying for that period of time, that you have the option of being able to cook a meal somewhere, or at least be able to make yourself something,
The other side of it
toast,
is
make
they have
something.
the option to leave
That's true.
and then find a place, but, again, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, I know, exactly, exactly.
Those are really, let me see if I had anything else. I thought a lot of thought went into this. I'm not disappointed by it. I'm a little worried when the envelope came in the mail, but
No, it's really intended to make it very clear on both sides what the expectations
yeah,
are.
and again, just a comment, section 11,
Yep,
possibly having a warning instead of a fine for the first offense. You may have talked about it already, but, usually there's a warning. I mean, $25 isn't a lot of money, but
yeah, okay, I've got you. I see, for first, yeah. Non-criminal disposition.
and again, this is fine, whatever you want it to be, but these are just comments.
Yeah, I've got you. I don't know, I mean, I personally think that if you have a regulation, it's very clear to you what to do, then I don't really have a problem with the first offense being $25. It's a small,
And this enforcement section was taken from our other regulations. It's the same through all the other Board of Health ones.
yeah, they start to read an awful lot alike from one to the next, yeah.
And you can always come before the board too to make a request to have that fine
Yep, you can.
reduced or without, removed.
And this allows you to request a variance from any of the provisions,
variance is
so,
interesting
you
to
know.
me, too. I do like that idea. Who does the variance go to? Because it says Board of Health, but is that Neshoba Board of Health or is it the Ayer Board of Health?
It's us, and Neshoba, as usual, they're the trained people that are out there actually doing the inspection and making the decision, but the board would grant the variance.
So if somebody wanted a variance and they petitioned the 15 days ahead of time, and it happened to be you met like the day before, you may not meet for a whole month. So what happens in?
Yeah, we're pretty flexible, though. If you have something that you need that's urgent,
Oh, all right.
yeah, we can usually get things together. We can do a sooner meeting if we need to, so. Yeah, we'll try to support your needs on that.
So when would it go into effect? It sounds like it's going to go.
Yeah, it would go,
I'd like to get this in place like today if you could.
yeah, I mean,
So we can't, but-
I know, but I think that if if we can get it voted on, if you get it to
Yep.
the state for review, then
So they don't review it, they just, or.
they just file it?
Yep.
Is that right?
So
Okay.
once you approve it,
Okay.
then, like I said, you'll do the cleaned up copy.
I'll make
Yeah.
it pretty. And
Does it state in it? That's actually a good point, when it becomes, oh, it's at the very end. Okay, she'll be, yeah, the question marks. That's right.
Yeah.
So we actually have to put in dates. Rules and regulations were adopted by, it's Board of Health, Town of Ayer, full force and effect on and after. What's a reasonable, today is March.
April 1st?
Yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable. April 1st?
Yep.
April 1st. Write it in, Sam. April 1st.
You ready for a motion?
Absolutely.
I move that we accept the hotel motel regulations as amended to be effective as of April 1st, 2024.
I second.
Second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much. And you take it from here, right, Bridget? Do you need me to do anything further, or? I'm sorry, yes, go ahead.
So in section 6, there are 2 points A and B. One is the guest unit, other one is efficiency units. I would like to understand how it differentiates from 28 days mandatory checkout.
For an
Section 8.
efficiency
Check-
versus
Section 6,
section 6, okay.
Okay, occupancy.
Transient
for
motorist,
the guest units, it says 3 weeks. For the efficiency units, it says 90 days. I'd like to understand how.
Okay, all right.
Mandatory checkout.
okay. I see what you're saying, what you're asking here. So if they want to stay for longer than 3 weeks, it would have to be in a designated efficiency unit, and that's per the definitions. So it's both cooking and sleeping
So
accommodations.
let's say someone is not cooking, as of until now, we were allowed to have a guest, regardless of whether they have a kitchen or not, they can stay in the same room for 28 days.
For 20,
8 days, right now, we have that.
okay, yeah, I got you, yeah, 28
So
days.
after these new changes in effect, they will be allowed to stay only 3 weeks?
That, yes, that's the way this one's written, yeah.
Okay, what's the timeline that we have to wait until they can come back?
That is a good question. So we have person at the same licensed facility, limited to 90 calendar days. So this is all at the same facility. So that's at the same, not the same unit, it's at the same business. Is that how you're interpreting this, Bridget?
Let me just get to that section.
This is a good point. At the same facility. I think facility is here, it's referring to the whole motel facility. So it's, you can't move to a different room after 21 days. You need to.
We can, I mean, it would be the work for them, it's not for us, but like, we still would like to know, like, we still follow the 28 days or not. Because the people usually staying longer days will have stuff, especially the older people, and we can ask them to move to the different units, but it will increase their work, not ours. So, like, technically, it doesn't sound good when we look at the like 70-year-old person.
Yeah.
If that's the town one, that's.
70 years old.
So I guess, so are you allowing people to live there, just moving them room to room?
No, we
So-
don't. We
so-
do not allow it.
So,
So after, that's what I'm trying to understand.
so
Like,
after 21 days, I guess, what's the concern I'm trying to,
if, to the point to her, like, thing, right? She was saying, like, if they can move to a different room, if it's not facility, and if these letters.
if there's
state the same
extenuating
thing.
circumstances, you can come before the board and ask them to extend their stay.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, that's what I think.
But I'm trying to understand, like, do I still enforce 28 days checkout or now?
It's 21.
No, 21 now.
21?
Yes,
Okay,
right.
how many days they have to wait until they can come back?
Was it 2 weeks?
I don't know if we
I
have.
read that somewhere too. There was a,
that in here.
Do you want to add that before you
Yeah. Is that, do you recall if that is in here about?
It's not, I don't think it's in
not?
here.
Okay.
In the
Okay.
mean,
original
if-
policy, it was. It was a break-in between state. I remember reading
It might have been in a different set that we were looking at, but, I mean, I think the intent here is just to make sure that people aren't obviously
Right,
living
just
there.
living there.
Yeah, moving from room to room. Do you recall what, was it 2 weeks? Have you seen a 2-week?
It was just one day, but
It was 1 day, okay.
because that's the tenant rule, right? If someone were living 30 days, then they convert it to the tenant. So that's why we were doing 28 days checkout.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. How long do you have to be gone until you're a new guest?
And you can't, like, and that's also to prohibit from going from room to.
Right,
yeah.
right,
But
so then the
21
facility is,
Now it's 21, and you're saying it was 28?
yes, but what I think he's trying to get down.
How many days
is-
to that?
Yeah. if-
Maybe it was 72 hours. I was thinking that but I remember reading this, that you had to vacate it for a certain length of time. And maybe what we should do is just call around a couple other towns and see what they're doing in terms of
We didn't
what that time frame
save
is.
those other ones that we used as a reference? If it was in there, if it was in the other two that were.
I do remember reading
You could
it.
do a minimum checkout of 24 hours or 48 hours before returning.
It was specific, whatever it was. It might have been 72 hours.
I mean, you can do 72.
I think the 24 is a little tough because 24 is, you kind of can be room hopping with 24. And the purpose is to make sure that people aren't claiming it as a resident.
Residents.
So 48 to 72, anyone
I'm good with 72.
going once, 72?
Yes. Make a motion, do we make a motion
Yeah.
for that?
To amend it.
Yeah,
I make a motion to amend it, the 72 hours, how am I trying to say that?
Vacate.
Vacate
vacate.
Yeah.
70, all right.
Before reoccupying.
before reoccupying, 72
And how
hours.
about the efficiency units? Is it the same 3 weeks not applies? Because it says 90 days over there, so.
Let's see.
So they have, if they're longer than 3 weeks, so by that 22nd day, they would have to be in an efficiency unit. So this is just saying they can't spend longer than the 3 weeks in like a single room
Okay.
without efficiency. And it's 90 days.
In a total, so like, let's say on the 22nd day, I moved someone in efficiency.
Yeah.
So how do I count 90 days? From the day I moved him in, or from the day one he checked in the facility?
I would say it's
I would,
90.
yeah, it's right, it's 90, it's from the day that they started at your facility, because this is referring to at the facility, same license facility.
So there were
Okay?
three
So
amendments.
72 hours
Three
vacate
amendments,
before
okay.
reoccupy. All right,
So
so
how does-
you made a motion.
To amend that, the 72 hours before they can.
Reoccupy.
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 Second.
You seconded, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're going to make one more amendment to clarify 72 hours vacating before reoccupying, and that would go into that section 6 occupancy.
So there's three amendments, to be clear,
Yeah.
right? Just one of them was the word and, okay.
Yeah, electronic,
The dog, right?
rat issue, yeah, and the dog
Okay.
issue. All right?
Okay, and one more question on the pets.
Yes.
So, like, are only service animals or the pets with the notes from doctor are allowed, or they can have the pet without any note or any service animal?
So it would be up to you then, as the operator, if you, as your policy, want to accept pets or not. So you could prohibit pets altogether, except you can't prohibit,
Right.
service
Yeah, that's how
animal.
we are doing now.
Yeah. So if you want to allow pets, then you can, but you would have to see when they check in, you'd have to see a current rabies certificate.
And
for
keep that on
animal.
file.
Yeah, if it's a dog.
So anyone carrying the pet should carry that rabies
Yeah.
certificate with them?
Rabies certificate, or because some animals can't have the rabies vaccine because they have something with their bodies, they can have a letter from the vet saying that this animal can't have the rabies vaccine because,
And you're gonna be required to keep it on file.
Yeah.
With you.
so you'd have to keep that tied to that person.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
That's while they're there.
yeah, that's while they're there.
Yeah.
For a year or something, or for a reason?
I think I would say some, short period of time afterwards in case any bite incidents show up. But that's really what it's for, is to be able to tie if there's a dog bite somewhere that we know who the dog belongs to and we know it has
Right,
rabies.
I mean, keeping it on file too for your insurance purposes might be good, but if the guest comes back in 6 months, you still have it on file too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is a good point, yeah.
Dog mother.
You're always thinking. Okay, but it's your choice. If you want to prohibit animals other than service animals, you can do that. Just make sure you post it somewhere that, you don't allow animals except
So you said like
service.
rabies certificate is like kind of medical record, sorry, I don't know about pets, is it like
Yep.
your own one?
Yep, it'll be a little certificate. It'll have the owner's name, the dog's name, and it will give the date that it was vaccinated and then when that certificate expires. And they're usually good for like 3 years.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if you do keep it on file, then it's probably going to be good for a couple of years if that person comes back.
Are you able to send us a finished copy with
Yeah,
with
yep.
the date? 'Cause
Sure, yep,
thank you.
yeah, we can do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome, thank you very much. Thank you, Bridget, for pulling that together. That was a lot of work.
And, sorry, one more question.
Sure, go ahead.
Right now, like, we applied for license renewal, which we were not granted because we are not operating as a
Right.
motor right now.
Yeah.
So, once the state says, okay, we are done with this program, we don't need your help anymore,
Yeah.
we'll be able to apply for license again when
Yep.
it's due. Okay.
Absolutely. And these will be your clear-cut guidelines to follow, so no surprises at
Everything
inspection.
we're doing just except the difference of the 28 days checkout and not nightly gas as of now.
Yeah. I mean, it is pretty, it was taken from, some other towns that have also done similar regs, so there's nothing really astonishingly new in here, but they're probably all good practices for hotel motel anyway.
Madam Chair, can I just ask a question on the pets?
Yes, absolutely.
And forgive me, I don't have the draft in front of me. So what's the maximum time that somebody can stay in the efficiencies?
90 days.
90 days. So, so the pets that may come into our town for 90 days, are we presuming that they're not going to be registered and only have a rabies cert? And then how do we determine if they've been declared a dangerous dog in another, another town? Or if there's been other problems? So is there any type of requirement of?
That's a good question. Aren't there like certain, are you referring to like, I know in campgrounds and other hotels, certain breeds, because of the liability, are not allowed in certain places?
I know
So-
in campgrounds that you have to bring your registry, the town that it's the animal's
Yeah.
registered in.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm just concerned that we might have an unaccounted for, dog for 90 days, in the, especially in the long term, but even the 22 days, it's, a dog could be brought in that does a lot of damage or bring fear to the rest of the occupants there.
Yeah, I got you. What do you suggest? I mean, we're trying to say if you've got the rabies, you know who the owner is.
I think at a very minimum, know where the last place it was, where it's registered, where the dog is registered, because by state law, a dog in Massachusetts is supposed to be registered.
Doesn't the rabies certificate have that on it?
No, it's a completely separate.
Yeah,
dog.
because that's by the towns.
Yeah, so the town actually has to see the rabies cert to give the
To give the
registration.
license, yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
what the requirements are for licensing a dog if you're transient? Is there a certain length of time the dog,
It's a great question. I don't think there is a transient portion to that. I mean, it's up to where the dog is residing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I get, the question, I think, would be to, try and figure out a way to, possibly bring the two topics into compliance with each other.
Interesting.
What have you seen, Bridget? Because I know you said I've never brought my dogs to a motel.
A lot of people do now. My
But
sister
do they ask you
prefers-
for evidence of the license
So-
or that it's registered in a?
Some do, some don't. I always keep it and have a copy on my phone. But I think it's a very good point
Yeah,
because
I do too.
And I apologize, I didn't pick up that on that.
no, and you know what?
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's because it's a new,
But we're saying the hotel motel can't be a resident. So the dog would have to be licensed someplace other
Someplace.
than there.
And then I guess the question is like, what if there is no other place? Or if you're there for 90 days, what's to prevent somebody
Is there a
from bringing
temporary
in-
license that the town can
We,
grant to a dog?
we do not have that. I mean, they can choose to license it, but if it's not a resident, I think that's kind of where,
Yeah, I mean, you could theoretically just amend this one more time and say proof of registration with the town and rabies certificate. Because again, I mean, it's just sort of a side note for what you're saying. Insurance companies would probably want that anyway.
Yeah. Do all towns, is it just in the Commonwealth that all towns require dog, like what about people from other states?
I can only speak to Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, all dogs
Yeah,
have
I
to be,
think that is true in
over
Mass.
6 months old.
I guess that's the only fly I could see in the ointment is what if you're coming here from like a state that doesn't have a
Well, then I would
requirement?
definitely say we want to know about or
Yeah,
prevent,
yeah.
animals that are uncontrolled,
yeah, yeah,
meaning, their medical history is uncontrolled.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I got you. It's an interesting one. That probably would be in the interest of public health to know.
I'm thinking though, we can't talk out of both sides of our mouth,
Right.
It's not a residence, so you're not a resident of that location. You're not a resident. If you're staying there 90 days, that's not your residence.
Right.
The dog may habitate there for the 90 days with you, but you're not a resident of the town of Ayer, or you're not a resident of whatever the motel hotel is.
Pet is approved from the owner operators. Okay, to stay because of extenuating circumstances.
I get what you're saying.
I do
don't know what
too.
the-
I do
I don't know what the
Yeah,
answer is
I'm
because
not exactly
we're clear
sure
that it's
either.
not a residence.
So you may be able to get around it by just saying proof of, registration of the animal and rabies. And maybe we look to the other town bylaw to remedy transient animals in town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a possibility.
Kind of hit it from both angles, but I definitely think that we should have some sort of control of the animals that could be here for 90 days. Or with a
Agreed.
variance,
I
or with
mean-
a variance more than
Yeah,
90 days.
that's fair, yeah.
I would think the
That's reasonable.
responsibility of the owner-operator in terms of ensuring that it's not a dangerous animal or anything else that would be dangerous.
Nope. And, and I believe that, that there are, instances where, an animal is declared a dangerous animal in a certain town, that I think these things kind of happen that that the dogs can,
Yeah.
the dogs can move until they find a place for it. And it'd be horrible if we, adopted a
Yeah,
dangerous animal
yeah.
and didn't know about it.
Yep.
How does that get recorded, when a dog is deemed a dangerous dog? Is that recorded somewhere by the town or the state or?
It's generally recorded by the town. The state
Okay.
doesn't keep track of them.
Okay,
But that's why I think it's important to know where the dog came from. The
Yeah,
last
yeah.
registered place would have to, identify
Okay.
it that
So
way.
that could go in there with the rabies, some kind of identification from the last,
Correct.
where they're
yeah, and we
registered.
could word that to say that in accordance with that person's, I guess, local jurisdiction.
So I would think the easiest way to handle this is you come up with language that you're comfortable with in that, and we can vote to approve whatever you think is, I'm comfortable with that if you come up with language with Sam to put in there.
Yeah, okay.
But does that cover, like the chief said, if registration, proof of rabies.
Yep.
And proof of, what are we saying, for registration in or town that they're registered in,
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
got their dog
According
license
to-
in. That's going to open up a can of worms.
According to the
All
requirements of
dogs
that
aren't
jurisdiction, I
registered.
guess, because
Yeah.
that,
You know, and I really don't think that it's going to happen that much, but I think
No.
the
Yeah.
town should protect
Cover.
itself from.
Yes.
That could be flipped back to the hotel owner. If you
Yeah.
can't prove where the dog is, then you can't stay here, you know?
Where the dog, yeah.
Sure, it's their responsibility to make sure that
You
the
gotta have
dog
the papers.
had the papers, right?
So,
okay.
we amended.
So,
Thank you.
Well, no, but I just think it's easy if you just
Yeah,
come up
I
with
think-
language.
Yeah.
and-
okay, all right. Do we need to vote on amending to include that language?
I don't think so. I think what we can
No?
do is, Nick, at the next meeting, we can go back and vote to approve whatever language you put in,
Okay.
you know?
All right,
We can just confirm it. There's a word for it, and it escapes me right now, but
okay, all right. I'll talk to you ladies tomorrow then to get some language for that, so, okay.
We got a lot of feedback.
yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, no, that's
what
good.
it's all
That's
about.
good.
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to make sure it's done right.
Yep.
Okay,
All right. So,
hotel motel, all set?
is that it?
Thank you. Do you know what you're going to do yet? Are you thinking of going back to motel or no?
No, we have to.
No, I mean, rather than doing with the state, are you thinking of?
No, we are gonna come back to the motel as soon as state says no to us.
What did they
Okay.
say, July 1st? I thought
June
that was,
July 1st.
Yeah, it's like
30th, yeah.
a 12-month
Yeah.
thing, right? They do.
Fiscal
It was
year.
9, because the fiscal year ends.
Ah, yeah, right,
Okay.
that's
We
right.
started in the end of the September.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Well, you'll have a brand-new regulation to start
So
with.
for the past, we will need two things, the certificate of rabies and the registration at the local.
Yeah, some evidence of that they're locally registered.
And I didn't quite get about the dangerous animal, like how do we verify whether the,
So you wouldn't actually have to verify that, but if you make sure that you know where that dog is registered, so you have a copy of, oh, that dog is licensed in Milford. If something happens, we know that we need to contact Milford to find out if it hasn't been deemed a dangerous animal there.
And you
Yeah.
could also set your own policy and procedure, so with online registration or with guests having dogs, you can ask them those questions too, like just a separate list, has the dog had any other issues in,
we can do on our website, but the Expedia, Booking.com, we don't have any.
Oh, yeah, right.
Airbnb, so.
right,
Yeah, that's true, that's true. But that's a good point. So you don't have to accept pets other than service animals at all. That's still your choice if you want to do that. So it's just, if you do, then we want to know where it came from.
Got it.
No dogs. That's the easy.
Yeah, I know, I'm torn. I mean, being a dog owner and lover,
Me too.
I hate to restrict them, but on the other hand, I don't know why any motel or hotel owner would accept them, because it seems like a lot of liability, yeah.
There's high-risk breeds. They're just, those are the ones that are being
Yeah.
tagged as, like the Rottweilers, the Dobermans,
Yeah.
the German Shepherds.
But you know what bites the most? Labs.
Really?
I thought it was Chihuahuas.
Oh, yeah, that's
Ankle
probably,
biters.
you just don't feel it. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're done with the public hearing, we need to close it officially.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't officially close it?
You have to make a motion to close it.
Oh my gosh.
I'll
okay.
make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay,
Second.
let's do a voice vote.
Aye.
Mr. Slaski? Ms. Peters, the chair says aye. Yes, meeting is closed. Oh my God. Somebody save me from myself.
It's always a bunch of little things.
Thank you, Sam. I do appreciate that.
All right.
My conscience in the background. Animal and fowl permits.
can we, due to unforeseen circumstances the past few weeks, this kind of slid to the side. Can
Yeah,
we
I gotcha.
just reconvene? Sam's gonna get me
Sure.
some phone numbers to call at least one of the abutters, and then we'll circle back around with
Okay.
town council if need be. It just,
That's fair, yeah.
please.
There have been other things on a
Thank
plate.
you.
Okay. And I would say we should probably do the same thing with review of regulations in general, that I'm keeping that on the agenda so that we keep it as a reminder, but the hotel motels are the most important right now to get.
Yeah.
And I do have well regulations, they're the state standard well regulations, and I think would basically work
Okay.
well for you guys. So just, you could you could look at them at some point, I'll print them, and
Oh,
then
yeah, that would be great.
go through them, I'll email them to you, just go through
Okay.
them. And again, they're the standard state regulations, so
Okay,
you can
great.
vote them as they are.
All right, perfect. Since we have the advantage of Mr. Pontbriand here, I do have a question about our regulations, and it has to do with the aquifer district and the special permit business. So we still have this Board of Health regulation about aquifer that goes, pretty much is the exact same as what is now in the zoning bylaw. Predates that, but the text is virtually the same, and it refers to us as the permit granting authority, which I know because of all the change in zoning bylaw stuff that's not correct, that we can't be the permit granting authority for that. So what I'm kind of wondering is, do you have any advice for us as to whether, should we just retire that regulation entirely? I'm not even sure really if we can enforce it, to tell you the truth.
Well, Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health, good evening. Rather than just give an answer off the cuff, I
Yeah.
do remember what you're talking about. Let me just check. I'll
Okay.
check with town council and
Yeah.
advise back to you to the board, because I know the change was on the state level, what made
Yeah.
the planning board the permitting authority.
Yes.
And you're correct. The language is almost the same in
Yeah,
both.
yep,
Let me just get some guidance as to what they would recommend
okay.
with respect to the Board of Health regulation. Keep
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
rescind it. I just don't want to give a.
No, that's
Answer right off
that's
the-
fair. I think we should think about
I
it.
will
And
get you an answer for the board.
well, as Ms. Spinner pointed out to us a number of times, we adopted those regulations way before it ever came up in zoning, and we
Right.
did it because we had to do something from a public health standpoint to
Correct.
protect the aquifer. Feels like maybe that burden is now no longer on us. It's now kind of a general zoning thing. So I just don't want to have a regulation out there that we're not even capable of enforcing.
No, fair point. So let me,
Okay.
I'll get that answer or options for the board.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, that sounds good. Thank you so
Yep,
much.
thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Neshoba, you're up.
Everything.
No update? Haven't you done anything in the last 2 weeks?
Oh, my God.
I know. You have nothing to show for yourself?
I have PTSD.
I'm so sorry. And I'm making it worse.
The only thing, we just have been doing some food inspections, and we can talk about those at the next meeting
Yeah,
if
okay.
you want.
Yeah.
I just didn't bring the inspection report with me, but we
Okay.
have been watching some places closely.
Okay, all right. We'll put it, there'll be Neshoba update next meeting too. It's always on there. All right. Call log was a little thin, I noticed.
Yeah.
Not fielding a lot of
Did we
calls.
skip? Was I not paying attention? The animal and fowl, those were all,
We're moving to next
Oh,
meeting.
Trish,
yeah.
where were
I
you?
don't know, I just,
What are we talking about?
I blanked right out. I was thinking about something else. I'm like, well, how did we do that?
Well, no, we put it off till the next meeting
Okay.
because Bridget said there were other things going on, but then she had no update because she hasn't done anything, so.
The precursor to that.
Yeah,
Yes, I get you.
Nothing noteworthy in the call log. Just
Nothing noteworthy.
referrals, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say, I only put a couple down that you see for variety. I will say I probably do get about 10 to 15 phone calls a week
Yeah.
almost all of them are, I'm looking for my septic, I live in Pepperell.
Yeah, yeah.
The state told me to call Ayer. I don't know why. Somebody somewhere tells people to call Ayer all the time, and they're not even in Neshoba town.
Because they know how good Bridget is. That's why.
But I had someone from Dorchester call me 4 times. The state kept giving them our phone number, and I was like, I'm the airport.
About what?
And Devon's too is on, I'm like.
Devon's, at least I understand. That one
Yeah,
happens all the
that
time
one I
for
can see.
everything. But no, like I don't know. I don't know where our phone number is and where people are finding it. But
Wow.
they like to call the Board of Health.
Our
And
reputation travels, maybe.
And I always have to, I'm like, one of them I even had to say, I was like, I think that's a Boston problem. Like, you need to call them.
No, I think the word's out. Call Ayer. They are on
It has
top of
been
their
happening,
stuff.
it's been happening as long as I've been here.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't-
think maybe because it's A and it's at the top of the.
Oh, yeah, I wonder.
I mean, at least when I get the Neshoba calls, I get it. If you use the right search engine and you do Neshoba, it will just come up with our phone number.
Right.
So I get it. But
Yeah. Yeah, that one I get. Dorchester, I don't get.
lots of Littleton. I had a lot of Littleton calls.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I wouldn't bother recording those. Just bills. Got any bills? Got any mail?
I did get one piece of mail this morning, or early afternoon. It is, just so you all know, from the Department of Agricultural Resources, the nomination of Inspector of Animals.
Ah, yes.
Renominate Julie.
It's that time again.
I can fill out all the paperwork. Apparently, I'm the contact person now, so.
That's great. Yeah, I think you can.
Just so you know,
Okay.
if you want, I can call her to make sure she still wants to be the animal inspector, but,
I'll give her a call.
yeah.
What the heck? I'll give her a call.
But that was the
Okay.
only mail we received.
All right.
You need a motion on that, or?
Actually, we probably should do that.
Make a motion
If
that
Julie is interested to, which I hope she is.
Make a motion that with the acceptance of the current inspector, we reappoint her
Okay.
for another year.
I second that.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Okay, very good. I'll give her a call and just make sure she's up for another year of that.
Let's see what she-
Upcoming meetings and dates, so I think our next one is in 2 weeks and we're okay with that date, right? There's no,
So I did receive an email from Carly
Oh, that's
asking
right.
if we would move it to the second
if we could go
floor.
upstairs, right? Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the date of that one?
This is the 25th. You also sent me an email about Jim coming.
So Jim wants to come see you?
Yeah, sure,
Is that okay? We
absolutely.
put him on
Yep.
first?
I have.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's put him on. Okay,
I can set it up for the second floor, and we're
okay.
okay with that.
Yeah, second floor is fine with me. That's all right. And definitely let Jim know that he's more than welcome.
And to go to the second floor.
Yeah, and to go to the second floor.
Just so you know, my daughter from Denmark is here that day, and I won't be here. So,
Zoom in.
Yeah.
she was asked to be a guest speaker at Middlebury, so they're flying her from Denmark. Yeah, so,
There's no technology.
Yet.
The power of yet.
Should we, since this room is not available anyway, should we look at moving the date?
it's up to you.
How do you guys feel about that?
We're flexible
Steve
enough.
has a,
Oh, my daughter's gonna be
Yeah,
doing.
for that Monday.
Well,
I can do Monday the 1st if you want.
we also have
Following
a meeting
Monday.
scheduled for the 8th. In April.
Does
So
it
I'm
have-
just looking ahead at April. So the
Could we do
meetings-
the 1st and
that's,
not the
yeah.
8th?
I'm kind of wondering if we do that, if we move to the
And
1st.
we can't meet the 22nd.
Right. That would kind of solve our problem, right, with town meeting. So how does that work for everyone?
1st works fine for me.
Yeah?
Move that one to the
April Fools.
Is that okay with you?
Yep. Can
So we're not
I'll
going,
make sure Jim
So we're
can come.
not
on
going to
right
move to
now.
the next one,
so,
the 25th.
We're gonna have it
Next
April
meeting on
1st.
the 1st. Okay.
so are you gonna let Jim?
I'm gonna do it right now,
Okay,
before I forget.
okay.
And then that would make our next, on tax day. That would make our
No,
second
that's a
one, right?
holiday.
It is?
Patriots Day.
Oh, Patriots Day is the
okay.
15th?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
So that's, so we can't meet the 15th and we can't meet the 22nd.
How did we end up with Mondays?
I know.
We hit all the
But we don't, I mean, we don't have to, like you said, we're,
Exactly.
three of us are
Yeah,
flexible enough.
Yeah, we can be flexible about it.
We're-
We'll pick another date
You're the only one
then.
that's still really working. I mean, Steve's still working in different
Well, that,
capacities.
He's got more
but-
jobs than we
that
do.
comes to an end because of well,
You're always somewhere.
they get 19 inches of snow between Saturday and today.
No kidding.
Really?
And they couldn't open because the winds are so strong at the summit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
45 to 55 mile an hour winds. And it knocked out the power. And,
Blow you off the lift.
well, if the wind is coming down the fall line, it's okay. It's when it's sideways that they go like
Yeah,
this. So.
Yeah.
exactly.
All right,
All
so
right.
we're meeting April
So,
1st.
April 1st and another date in April to be determined. So
Okay.
maybe if you could do some searching around to see for a second April date, what,
All right.
like maybe something that week of the 15th. If there's,
If we have anything, we can always have the option to take
yeah,
a little break.
yeah, we could do that
Yeah,
too.
we can, because that week I'm away the 16th through the 19th, just for 3 days in the middle of the week.
Okay, good for you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll work it out.
I can't do the end of April, so. I get to.
We'll work this out somehow or
You
another.
want to take a vacation?
My husband has a conference, I'm just.
Oh. Okay, so April 1st.
So I
You on
think,
5:30?
yeah,
5:30.
yeah.
We did the call log.
And if we need to do anything, because if something comes up sooner than that, we'll just
figure it out.
deal with that. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We always do. All right. Anyone in the mood to make a motion? Anything else? Did we miss anything else?
I'll make a motion to convene the meeting of March 11th of the Board of Health.
Convene?
Not convene, to conclude. What time is it? I know.
I'll second the motion.
You gotta keep me in
all over
check.
again. We're not doing that.
I've already made three mistakes tonight on camera, which really,
All right. So we
Did you
have
say?
a motion.
I have a motion to conclude.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We are done.